I got to talk to man and figure out how to do it officially, but it can be done though.
Well, so
where he can run the board from over here?
Yeah.
How? Oh, there it is. I didn't.
So I can run the board from here now, right? I just can't run the phone.
You mean right now?
Yes.
No, you won't be able to run the board from here right now.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do they do it for Ben? Old boy's over in there.
Dennis is over there, and Ben's over
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it can be done. But y'all want to stay in here?
There's no camera in this little room here. Are those cameras expensive?
That's what McCarthy said. McCarthy said everything expensive, just so we won't touch it.
That's what who said?
Well, that's an easy fix. Let's just find the manufacturer.
So what would happen if I use my camera?
You mean the camera you've just been using regularly for your? I mean that's fine. You can do that.
I mean, but can I put that camera up here?
Yeah.
And then you just get the one on me and the
right. Yeah. You want to do that? Yeah.
But how would you rig my camera in this?
How would you put it in with the system is what he's saying. Like, how would you make it all work together?
So that it switches.
So that when you switch it, you can still see his, too.
From Eric.
How would you control his camera that he takes out? You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's tricky. Yeah, I would have to ask Matt. Matt would know. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to give you the wrong answer. Yeah. Let me ask him, and I'll reach out to you.
Mercy.
Going down?
I can put my hair up.
I don't mind giving them.
Thank you, Lord.
My camera just bouncing here.
I had to put my something. I'm like, something was happening.
How they got it rigged up?
I don't know.
No, she got the Holy Ghost. I'm trying to some way. Use your camera.
Somebody pick up the rest of
if you want to do that. We can figure
got all the ushers standing around me.
I'll let you know what he says. Okay, all right.
Sister Rest is gonna be all right. Let her go.
the spirit move. You know what he's gonna do. No, the sermon was supposed to be about this today. But the
Holy Spirit
done come up in here. We're gonna go with it. And get this. We're gonna go with it. We're gonna go with it.
Austin said we just gonna go with it.
We ain't gonna wreck the whole mood of her spirit. Because her Holy Spirit got its own mood. So Sister McDonald, you go on and let that spirit run through you, child. Let it run through you.
And that's when she breaks into her song.
Yeah.
Wait. Get up and start dancing.
The whole church. I gotta break out of my song.
Run up to the
Because the Spirit said do it. The Spirit
That's why you gotta roll out.
Run up to the pulpit, fanning that skirt around like that.
There's no turning back.
Once she head toward the pulpit,
and all she was doing was listening for the pastor to give her the okay. That's all it was.
She got up off that floor,
run up at us, and grab the mic.
Oh man! Let me show y'all something. This is
hilarious.
My cousin sent this to me. We were all just kind of getting ready to get to the church for my mom's service.
Hilarious.
Let me find it.
Y'all leave me a biscuit.
Get you a biscuit, man.
Good one.
Yes, you did. That's all right. I'll take this biscuit. Okay, y'all. So before we went to break, I said I had a dilemma not a dilemma, but I something I want to run past y'all. Somebody emailed me this question, and then she posted it on Facebook. Joliet Central has had a policy for without your ID, you got to get a temporary ID.
Okay.
They've charged $5 for this spot. So again, since I was in high school, they did this 30 plus years ago. This woman's child was showing up without his ID. So whenever they had to issue him a temporary ID, they charged his account $5. Charge his account $5. Charge his account $5. I mean, he's a repeat offender. When she finally checked on what he needed to do to get graduation, that's when she found out she had this $500+ bill.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Then of course you can't graduate. Right. You can't do nothing.
That's almost a third of the school here.
Yeah, until you get this bill cleared up. Her thing was, how does the district do this, get away with this, not notify the parents that they have this bill that's accumulating, blah, 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 blah. Does the Department of Education know that you guys have these illicit practices? You know, how, especially in a school district where most of the children are low-income families.
So they just run up a bill, and you all of a sudden you owe money.
Right.
They don't just run up a bill. Your student, your child, shows up
My cousin sent me that right before we were going
for school unprepared. You don't have an ID. You can't even get into school if you don't have an ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what they will do, instead of sending you home, is they will issue you a temporary ID. Temporary IDs cost $5. Now you would think as the child knows that you're getting, because they tell you getting issued a $5 to your account unless you paying it right then and that $5 out your pocket. No, the student ain't got the $5, so they put it on the account. Now instead of the student showing up no more without an ID because they know that this is going to be charged to their account, this student kept showing up to the tune of $500.
It seems to
With no
me
ID.
that obviously
So 100 times
you had to get. So
you get temporary ID,
don't
and then you didn't find out till they got to $500. They should be able to work that out.
Yeah, and PTA or something. Why isn't there not more communication in general?
Okay, hold
between
on.
the school
Now I said
and the
that.
teacher?
I said that.
And vice versa.
This has been a policy for decades. All right. I was aware of this policy. I was aware of this policy when my kids went to school. I told my children, if you get to school, they issued you a free ID that comes with your school at the beginning of the year. They gave you an ID. Now, if you aren't responsible enough to make sure you keep up with your ID and you lose your ID, you are responsible for getting you a new ID. All right.
Could have got a new ID for
Bam!
less than the amount of money that. Culpability.
No, I don't.
Only in the sense.
Nope.
Well.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Can I tell you why I think that? And you can be right.
What?
But I'll tell you why I think this. Parents are ultimately parents are responsible and should be. This part of what I think the school's bigger sort of permanent interest should be is to make sure the kids are graduating and they're getting through the process, that they're learning all that stuff, and to have a phone call. Hey, Miss Jones, did you know that John has had 10 days where he didn't bring his ID, and we've had to give him 10. We've had to produce 10 IDs. You have a $50 bill. We could have gotten him a new ID for $10. What's going on?
So,
I don't know if that's right or wrong. I'm just questioning, why did that not happen?
if you got a school like what Malcolm goes to, you got 4,000 students.
Thank you.
That becomes difficult.
Thank you.
But I think you're right though.
They don't
So
send in the mail.
I think the schools make a critical error by not collaborating more with parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's on the student. Though.
On the student.
No, I'm not saying it's not on the student. I'm
And
saying
on the parent.
I'm saying that
I'm
the
not going to be
schools.
blindsided with no bills like that.
I mean, maybe I could see if you send out a letter,
They get.
but I'm not.
I
I'm
ain't
not,
in the
I'm
habit.
not-
I ain't no collection agency.
No, but it's not about that. It's about
It's a
making
monthly
sure.
invoice. Everybody bills
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Why not send you a
But
monthly
what you
invoice?
should- you should already-
If you
You
build,
just said you got thousands and thousands of
No,
students.
that's automated though. The call is
the call
more
is
difficult.
That's
the
cumbersome.
automated
it's
invoice is
labor-intensive.
something that they can do.
Yeah.
So
And
generating an automatic invoice for thousands of students takes time, effort, energy, paper. right?
No, it's one
you can automate that.
Yeah. If it reaches, they can set a break. They can put brakes on it and say when it gets to $25, we automatically. They get a bunch.
No.
of
They can just send you an automatic invoice. It don't have to be mailed. It can be emailed to you.
But I'm
That
saying,
can be all automated.
well, yeah, every time it's a $5 charge.
No. Just send a zero invoice. Send an invoice every month.
Yeah.
Email.
And then if you get something in the mail,
Who will mail it?
email,
Email. That way it's all automated.
send it to the student and the parent. Both.
Okay.
But to the larger point though, I think that schools miss the opportunity to collaborate.
Yep.
I'll give you a really good example. So Malcolm has a system called Power School now, where you're supposed to be able to see his grades and how he's doing on assignments and so forth. Well, these teachers, they put the stuff in bunches. So it looks crazy when you see it because
So overwhelming.
well, because it all comes in at once. And so as they're putting stuff in, the grade rubber bands. So if he misses an assignment and the first thing he put in is a 0 for missed assignment, all of a sudden he's got an F.
Right.
Then he put in an A for a test. And then he
Gotta see.
misses school one day and misses a quiz. So it ends up looking crazy. And then they put it in bunches. So I think
That's confusing as hell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just listening to it.
so.
But that
so
goes back to Eric's point though about collaboration.
yeah, this should be it should be mandatory for teachers, as time consuming as it is.
Here's my
It
thing.
should be mandatory for teachers to put something in like every Friday,
Does
so that you can have a weekend
On
discussion
top
with
of
your child.
everything else that a teacher is
But
charged with.
but this is my point, though. You've missed the opportunity to collaborate with parents. Some of the load comes off of you if I'm plugged in
right.
and I know what's going on. So now the kids aren't coming to you as frequently.
And to that point, this is where, to your point about the parents thing, get the parents involved in that process. By collaborating, get them involved. You know,
They should be sending out group emails to all the parents.
Yeah,
saying, hey, listen to what we did in class this week. Make sure you and your student talk about this weekend. Then they're inviting us into the process.
Yeah,
We're helping you along.
education has evolved. All those things that we know, not to be redundant, have evolved. I think one of the things that could evolve is it's not just about getting Johnny or Jane to their soccer thing or their basketball or their debate or their band
I
stuff.
don't know many black dudes named Johnny or Jane. You know any black Janes?
I do.
I know Jane.
I have a,
Do you?
I have
A black one?
Yeah.
I went to school with her. Her name Jane.
Jane?
I have a
Like
cousin.
from Tarzan?
Jane.
Eric, yes. I
And
have
we
a
called her
cousin.
Jane.
I have a Jane. Me too.
Mhm.
We got a cousin Jamie. Just saw her at the funeral.
I ain't
Anyhow,
lying.
moving on.
I don't know.
My
James.
point.
Yeah.
That's all right. Fine. Half the
Ain't no
room
James and
got
Howard, dude.
No, I don't know.
half the room
James.
got it. Half the room
Keisha.
don't.
I
A lot
talked
of
to her
tears,
back. I hit Janie up on
Moot
Facebook the
point.
other
Half
day.
the room got it. Half the room don't. So it is what it is. But to your point, E, collaboration is what's missing. I think, and you didn't say that, but
Mhm.
ultimately,
Mhm.
that's really what it is. Teachers involved in a different way,
And parents in
and
a
parents
dial
involved
and
in another
Right.
way would have mitigated this.
It's not about notifying us as much as inviting us in to help you.
Right.
But then I feel
And
like
then
No,
use the
I see.
use the
I think we
teachers as
got
a-
it backwards. I think we got it backwards. Teachers are there to educate. Teachers' responsibilities have evolved into this other thing.
I don't disagree with that. That's
Yeah.
what that makes more of the reason why they should be collaborating.
No,
with
that
parents.
makes more reason why we shouldn't be on stuff like that.
yeah,
Now, if you want me to collaborate with you on grades and I set up should there be an assigned time that a parent should be able to, the teacher sets
But
aside
it doesn't
and
have
say,
to be. It doesn't have to be an either or, because ultimately the kid's not going to graduate. He could have been a straight A student. Now he's not
so
going to graduate.
where's the child's?
Responsibility in this. I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying that it's a
Because I
singular.
wanted to graduate.
Right, but did the student know that he wasn't going to graduate if he had this bill?
he had to know.
We don't know that
You
though.
if you
have
owe
to
the
know.
if you owe the
Hey, wait.
district,
That's-
you know you
Wait a
ain't
minute, the whole thing's
graduating.
silly though. It's too easy to automate that process.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
too easy.
saying. We have to look at. Yes, we know in an ideal world, even not even an ideal world. That's not fair. What we want the student to do and the parent to do.
Look,
And
if I
all-
showed up to school 100 times
Okay,
without
but
my
think
ID,
about- okay, so then
I
if
don't
that's
want
the
my
case-
parents to know
If that's
that.
the case, then think about the reason why they don't do it. And that's where I went with this
because
whole
schools operate inefficiently.
no,
Yeah,
because schools have incorporated this amount of money that they know they're gonna generate from these students into their budgets.
No,
Joliet Central
even-
built a $2.5 million addition onto their school simply from school revenue that they collected from these.
All right. So then, what's the solution?
no, they didn't. They
So-
issued bonds for that.
So let's say that.
They issued bonds for that construction project.
Let's say that it's.
But the revenue that's being generated from these IDs and
It's
stuff,
taxes.
exactly. So I'm just saying.
okay. So
But it wasn't. They weren't collecting fees and building a field house.
So
Well,
let's.
they've been collecting fees for, dude. I'm telling you, this has been in for decades.
Okay, but trust
No,
me.
they spent that money.
Wait. Get on point. I get what that. What's,
Just wait a minute.
so then what's the solution? No, not the solution. In this case, what should have been done better If you don't think the school is culpable,
I don't.
then what should have happened?
Culpable is the wrong word. I wouldn't use culpable either.
Yeah.
If the school has some skin in
But
the
the
game
school
on
should
this.
be collaborating with the
The
parents.
school did their job when they notified you when you enrolled. Here's our policies. Here's our this.
That's
this,
the case.
That.
No, you can't.
If
You
that's
can't
the
do that
case,
either.
if that's the
Can't
case,
do
we
that
don't need
either.
speed limits. Speed signs on the road.
And if that's why when you break the speed limit, you don't see no cop standing out there warning you, hey, speed limit, speed limit. No.
I understand.
Signs
that.
are posted.
I understand, but
They handed you the
I'm
information.
using
You
your
break
logic.
the law, you get a
I'm using
ticket.
your logic, which is when you signed up for school,
Mhm.
they gave you a paper saying.
Saying
Did you know that when you sign on,
Yeah.
when you get your driver's license, you agree to obey all the laws,
Mhm.
posted or not?
Right.
So if there's not a speed limit sign posted, how do you know what speed to drive? To your logic.
Because they tell you.
No.
Hold on.
You signed the form.
Listen to me.
You signed the form and
Listen.
gave it back and said you're going to obey all
Listen
laws,
to me.
posted or not.
Listen to me. In the state guidelines for driving, they tell you what certain roads are. They tell you what a minimal or maximum speed limit is for those. So if you don't see anything posted, you should assess what type of road this is that you're on and refer back to your book to know what your speed limit is you should be driving.
It's already been litigated that if the sign is not properly posted, a person can.
No, what they have
y'all going?
allowed, they've allowed that as an
I
argument.
was just waiting for you to finish because
But they've allowed that as an argument.
This is a
Now, if
drunken
they
ass
was to actually
conversation
go
right here.
further than
But
that,
my
What
point
the
is,
hell
my
are y'all
point is,
talking about?
I'm not going to digress any further than I already did, which is my fault. I don't.
how's
Dis-
that digressing?
no,
You
I
were.
no, I did. I'm not saying
That's
you.
not digressing. You
Sure
used
it
a valid
is.
point.
I said I did.
Sure it
He used a
is.
valid point to make his argument. How is that digressing?
I was
Because now y'all haggling over the damn
Trust it. I was saying.
speed limit.
Hold on. I was saying I'm not going to digress, meaning I was not going to go any further than I had already gone in what I said. I know my argument was a good argument.
Exactly.
I'm not questioning that. I don't care what anybody says. It's a good argument. And to further where you were going with the parents and the students' responsibility, I agree with that. I'm also saying we can walk and chew gum and that the schools can use opportunities like
They
this.
can, but why should they have to?
Okay.
Because it makes sense.
Because I
Because
can focus my time on something else.
no. That's not about what you can focus on. It's about collaboration with parents.
But then I feel like you get into the whole argument of what to collaborate with parents on and what not to collaborate on.
Thank you.
Well,
Everything.
Thank you.
Collaborate on
But
everything.
That's too much.
No, it's not. Not if you automate it. Not if you
I
automate.
don't even think that's necessary at all.
So then the student should have
Sure
gone
it
and
is.
said, "Mama, I
Look,
messed up."
Schools.
There's no.
messed
It
up.
should maybe one time, but I mean,
See,
it shouldn't
so
even. That shouldn't even be.
My question is,
situation.
my
Shouldn't
big,
even
my,
be a
well,
Well, I saw
situation.
100 times without
my
my
bigger question is, this is my bigger question, is how come the student didn't have the idea in the first place, and how come nobody knew about it?
Okay, we ain't no way to answer that though.
Huh?
We ain't got no way to answer.
No, I know
question.
that, but that's where. But I'm using that to tie into what you were saying.
So let's take that.
No,
Who's
no.
supposed to know?
Wait. I wasn't complete with my question. Why was a student not with ID in the first place multiple times? Why the parent,
100 times.
Why does a parent not know that?
Bam!
How come the parent doesn't know that?
Because she didn't make the phone
Okay,
call.
hold on, Tristan. So let's just say that the student had been late for school or tardy 100
Right.
times. What would have happened?
I don't know.
I do.
They would send a notice.
Well,
they
thank
send me a notice
they
right away.
called it.
I mean, they have to do that by
Right.
law.
Okay.
Okay,
but my point is,
so if 1,000 kids don't show up, they got to make 1,000 calls. Why
There you
can't they
go.
make 1,000 calls about?
and
missing
automate it
ID?
so that we
Because
have
they're
this.
too busy making 1,000 calls for the kids who
Hold on a
didn't show
second.
up.
We have an issue. We have an issue here that is a problem with students who didn't get to 100 days. They got to 20 days or they got to 7 days. Okay, so how can we fix this and not spend a lot of time or other resources calling people and all this other craziness?
Automate.
Oh, let's automate it.
When,
And then
when,
we take everybody off the table.
when
and
Malcolm was
fighting
late
about
for
it.
school, I get an automated call. Your son was late
Mr.
for school.
Chu, Mr. Grant, your son has a $75 ID bill. Boom.
So let's
Just
talk
automate it.
about why they don't automate. Let's go
Well,
back
They
to
don't
that.
operate efficiently. My
Are you-
son's school, HF, will do that.
Are you saying
We
they
get
don't
an
have
invoice.
money to do it?
I'm saying they're doing it because they want the money that this generates. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
seen these school budgets.
But-
I don't think that makes that big a difference.
But
If it was parking tickets, maybe.
so then
$5
you
a
are
hit,
saying,
though? $5? Is that what it was?
Say in a district of, I don't know how many students that this district has. It's thousands upon thousands.
Well, okay, so
So
HF has
then
4,000.
you're saying, Tressa, that the school is culpable, that they are responsible.
No,
No, because you said the money that they're getting is their motivating factor.
It doesn't matter. Once I've notified you that you are going to be charged this, now it's up to you not to be charged. Just like the city says, if you park here and you don't put money in that meter, you could potentially get a ticket. If you choose to park there and don't put no money in that meter, guess what? That's a choice.
But you see street signs though.
Yeah, it's the same concept.
Thank you.
No.
If you know the rule in the student handbook or whatever, it's the same.
If you say all of Milwaukee Avenue has this kind of parking and it says it way down in the city, what if you don't get on down there? You don't know that kind of stuff.
But in this case, you do know.
Exactly. You were handed out a student.
So why would somebody let the bill run to $500 and then not know?
So who's responsible for knowing? Bam! That's what I keep going back to.
First of all, the school knows.
Right. Bam, because they knew this because they issued you and told you this is what's going to happen.
So we're going to let
this.
That really is.
All right, so Tressa, I'm going to agree with you and say it's the student's fault and it's the parent's fault for not being on point. I'm going to agree with you on that. To say, you know what, end the discussion. It's their fault. They weren't on point. Okay. So if that's the case, as a school administrator, I'm going to say we got 1,000 students and 100 of those students had a billing issue, and not one of those damn parents looked into it, and not one of those students looked into it. But I'm the principal of this motherfucker. And guess what? That ain't right. So I'm gonna call a meeting because I'm the principal, and I'm gonna say, let's find a way to fix this, because we got some dog ass parents that don't give a shit, and they got some dog ass students that don't give a shit. But you know what? I don't want it to become a problem, because every year, come late May, we got 100 kids that can't graduate. I got parents coming to me trying to put their foot up my ass because we're billing them. So you know what? I'm a leader. I'm going to fix it and collaborate and say, let's automate this shit. That's what I'm going to do as a leader. It's a lack of leadership that's causing the problem to perpetuate itself.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And so let's blame the parent and a student. I'm cool with that. But as a principal, I'm going to try to fix this shit.
So you're saying if you're the principal, it shouldn't have even got to 100.
There it is. At some point, that's a resource.
You got a kid show up to school 100 times without their ID.
If you can't fix that as a principal,
there's something going on with that kid.
Come on, yo. The parents should have fucking known. The student should have said, Mama, I lost my ID at Thanksgiving, and I didn't have the guts to tell you because I was out playing in the snow. You told me not to take my ass out in the snow. I messed up. Okay. Kid ain't got the guts to do that for whatever reason. He's a goddamn kid. They ain't perfect. And Mama busy working 2 jobs and Daddy working 2e jobs. They fucked up.
Like to create scenarios, don't you?
But
they don't get a pass.
I'm not saying
I worked.
Now their mama got 2 jobs.
I have 4 kids
I did not
and 2 jobs.
Tressa, stop using.
So they're not gonna get a pass.
I'm not saying they get a pass.
And don't you do what Eric does? Come on, I'm using single source analogy. Don't do that.
I'm
using
not
single source analogies.
I already said you win on Mama and Daddy and the son fucked up. But as a principal, I have to be smart enough to go, these parents are some dog ass parents.
I agree with
but the other 900
but
students.
How do you tell those parents that they dog ass?
I fixed the problem by putting the brakes in and collaborating with the other 900 that ain't dog ass. That's how I fix it. It's leadership. We know we having dog ass parents didn't start last week. We've been having this shit for 100 years. Fix it with technology. We got technology left and right. And if they still continue to be dog ass, then their kids ain't gonna graduate because they got the email. I mean, it's fucking simple.
It is really simple.
I listen. I agree with you.
Mom and Daddy dog ass
in that respect,
and the kid.
I just don't let.
We had dog ass parents.
I was that type of parent that just never let it get.
My mother would show up at the goddamn school, scare the hell out of the white kids, because they come this chew. My mama, I ain't lying. I told you, Mama would show up. Tressa.
You can tell me.
Look, and it only took one time for me to have somebody turn around like this. Somebody come up and do like this. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit your head. My mama would come up from behind and tap me in the middle of the back of my head. One time, that shit was done. I didn't want to get in trouble.
My boy, his mama showed up at school one day and said, "Where's Bruce?" And she looked down the hall and saw his ass down the hall. She took off her shoe in front of everybody. It was way down the hall, so she had to walk all the way down the hall with a shoe in her hand.
No way, man. Hopping.
She said,
"Hopping like this."
There he is. She took her shoe off.
Eric, did you move like this?
Ooh,
She's about to go all the way back to Georgia.
because he stayed at basketball practice, didn't go to choir rehearsal.
Oh shit!
She was way down the hall. She said, "Hey."
Listen, I was that type of parent. My kids was not about that life because they knew mama didn't play that.
Shit, man.
I tell you, my son got called to the dean's office because of and I think I've told this story before, but my son got called to the dean's office because the dean had mixed up his last name. There was a Jonathan McDonald and a Jonathan McDowell.
Got it. O-W.
Jonathan McDowell was fucking up in school. His mama called and asked the dean to have a conversation with him. But when the dean sent for the student, he accidentally pressed Jonathan McDonald. So when he gets my son in his office, he goes, "So you think you a big man now, huh? Your mama called me and told me that you acting and you talking back." Jonathan said he was sitting there like,
My mom.
"Wait, no, he said, me? My mama called you?"
Oh shit!
He said, "You sure you got the right student?" The dean looked down. He says, "Oh yeah, I need Jonathan McDowell, not Jonathan McDonald."
McDowell from McDowell's on
I
Coming
guess.
to America.
Listen, it was literally that tight. It was literally that because my son said he looked at his dean. He said, "Dude," he said, "Trust me, my mama don't need no help regulating her household. None."
Tressa, let me tell y'all a story. This is I remember this. This is a birthday true story. Talk about parent taking care of business and being involved. One day, my mother showed up at school, and I'm, being a 8th grader.
That says a lot too.
And my mother showed up at the school, and she had the day off from work. I didn't think about it when I left to get the bus to get to school.
You thought mom was at work.
I thought mom was at work. Just being an 8th grader. My mother came up to me and she said, "What you doing playing in the hall?" I said, "We're between class." She said, "Yeah, but you should get to class and get there and be early." I said, "Okay, Mama." Mr. Jordan, who was the principal of the junior high school, walked up to my mother and said, "Miss Chu, we would appreciate if you," she said, "Hold on a second." She said, "Was I talking to you?" And there was 4 or 5 other teachers around. Let me tell y'all something. There was a moment where, if you've ever had this feeling like if somebody comes up from behind and startles you, and your body just goes into this whole like
euphoric thing. It's like you just feel opening up, like it's just opening up wide.
That was that moment because I'm processing a couple different things. One, I'm probably not gonna get an answer from mama because she's just telling me to get my behind class early. We're gonna be okay with that.
Right.
But how am I gonna navigate these motherfuckers when I get to school tomorrow? Because my mother just told me,
just
principal,
checked
his ass. I'm not talking to you
in public.
I'm talking to my son in the hallway at the school. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to
with the
my
finger up.
son.
Hold up.
Yeah. and so Eric, circling around back to where Tressa was. The idea that I would have run up a $500 bill, well, I wouldn't have not graduated.
You couldn't even
not because of the bill. I wouldn't have not graduated
because you couldn't make it up the steps. You couldn't get to
I would have been
school.
on crutches.
Yeah.
But that shit to this day, I remember that. And here's the cool thing about it: Mr. Jordan never fucked with me from that day.
I know he didn't. Because he knew
he didn't fuck with me.
Because he knew your mom had it under control.
She wasn't really yet. She just, hey, what's what you playing in the hallway for? You got to, get to class.
Yeah.
Mom, okay, I got time. Just get to class. Get there early so you can get sit down.
Exactly.
Mrs. Chu, we would have. I ain't talking to you.
They just put they don't even talk.
No, she did. She did like this. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my son. Golly. Yeah, yo. Did I ever tell y'all about the time?
That's when you hear Snoop Dogg come up. Dun, 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 da, 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 da.
Did I ever tell y'all about the time? Okay, so it was 1969. I'm in first grade, first or second grade. We live in Union Pier, New Buffalo, Michigan.
Yeah, I was doing math in my head.
Mama, yeah, shut up. He's about to go down there. Rich is old. So
no, I wanted to do that.
Awesome.
You know.
I'm in grade school, or first or second grade.
Right.
And long story short, the teacher had never taught a black kid. I was the first black kid in this.
The only one in the class.
Only one in the class, and that she had ever taught.
Mm-hmm.
Now I didn't know that. I'm just a happy-go-lucky little kid in a classroom with a bunch of other kids who were white.
Right.
Mrs. Ryer didn't understand that I was raised to ask questions, raise my hand.
Company that was,
If I had a question, I'd raise my hand, or if I didn't quite understand something, I would, excuse me, Miss Ryer, could you? So over like a few weeks of this, from what they tell me, she got frustrated because she thought I was being disruptive to the class because I would ask questions, or people, like first or second grade. So Eric, she apparently got tired of this, and she put me in the coat. She had me move my desk to the coat closet in the back of the room, back that side of the room. I can still picture the coat closet. So report card time comes around, and it was on my report card that Richard's disruptive in class. We had to read something. We had to put his desk in another part. My father saw that, and he was like, So he took the day off from work in Chicago on a Monday. They drive into the city Monday morning, go to office. Came to school, brought me to school that day. Go to Mrs. Ryer's class, talk to the principal. The principal comes down. And Daddy, I didn't see this, but he later on told the story. He said, I told that hoe off like she had stolen something. Because he said, this is what Daddy told. He tells a story. He said, I said, bitch, if you ever put my son in a coat closet again, I will make sure that you never teach another student, black or white. He said, my daddy said, this is 1969.
So you had to deal with that the rest of the year. Huh?
Right. Yeah, but I got good grades.
Richard, you got any questions today?
Yeah, right.
Yes, Richard. Yes, Richard.
We need you to ask a couple more questions.
Come on to the board, right?
Yes,
and so
surprised she didn't call the police on him.
And the principal was there too, like I said. But here's the interesting thing about that: when we were going through some of my mom's papers, and found my mother kept the report card that was initiated Pop going to the school, and it's on the report card
that
it said that. Is that crazy or what?
Wow.
So I'll show.
When I pass away, my kids will find the same thing because I have everything, every report card, every grade, every achievement, everything. I have a file cabinet.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
Matter of fact,
I don't want to look at that shit either.
my youngest son is getting married. He's getting married, and he called me and he asked me to send him his birth certificate and his social security card.
Yeah.
Because I have all of that. And so as I was going through my papers to get his birth certificate and his social security, and I was kept it in one spot. Right next to his birth certificate and his social security is his shot records, is all everything that he's ever had, any disease, any chicken pox.
Right. But now you can just go to the doctor and they can, pull up it.
Trust and don't trust the doctor.
This stuff, I trust a paper trail.
Nah, if I correct me, this is
It's the same lady.
Listen, I took an exam and I got a 98 on the exam. When I saw my listing of grades, I had a 93. Well, 95 is an A. So I saw this, I got all these list of A's and then there's a B. Hold up. Where does B come from? So I went on into, the office and where does B come from? Oh, well, you got a 93. I said, no, I didn't. I got a 98.
Right.
Wrote the shit wrong.
Wrote it wrong and pulled it, and then entered it into the computer. They had to correct that. I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't trust you to do this and then to call me. I'll wait.
Yeah, let me see it.
That's why she need to have her own seat at the movies.
I'll wait.
That's funny, Trust, about the
but
movie.
But bottom line, back to what I was saying about my son. Now my son's getting married.
Yeah.
So Mama packaged up all of this stuff all nice and neatly. and mailed it to his soon-to-be wife,
Oh,
and said, "This is everything that you're gonna need to know about your soon-to-be husband."
Oh wow.
Oh shit.
I sure did.
She gonna get mad at him and burn the shit.
I was thinking, I gotta figure out how she gonna review that. Like,
I'm just saying,
You dumber than I thought.
if she ever has children, if she
and
ever
they
has
start
children,
acting crazy.
she'll be able
It
to
ain't
see
me,
it.
or
She'll
it's,
be
I
able
guess
to
it is
know.
me.
And I listen, I didn't get the chance to do that with my oldest son, because my oldest son, him and his wife they just went and got married at the courthouse, and then he went off to the Navy. I didn't even know they were married until they got off into I didn't know it. I didn't even know they had got married. And he finally called me and told me, well, you know, me and Elaine got married. So they've been married for all these years. So I never. No, I didn't cuss. I was actually a little hurt because I didn't. That was my oldest son, and I didn't get to share in that moment with him. So anyway, but I've been waiting for the day for me to package that stuff up and send it to her too.
Oh Lordy, that's too funny.
Yeah, but I have everything, all them little popsicle stick things that they made for me, little jewelry boxes, glue everywhere. Oh yeah. Even my grandkids have made me so, like my grandson made a turkey with his hand. So this was the turkey feathers, and this was the turkey head. So he drew like a little statement. So I still have that, and it's his actual hand. He was probably like 5 years old when he did it.
My grandmother
back in the 60s, silhouettes were a big deal. My mother has a silhouette that I made for her in 4th or 5th grade, still in a frame at our house in Mississippi, which was originally at our house over in Michigan.
Hey, is your hands clean?
Yeah.
His face is clean, so it's
Just wipe my booty with my hands.
So yeah, trust me. She got a silhouette. Black.
Well, you get to keep this.
That's mine. He brought that for me.
Yeah. It got it framed in her house. I was like, wow. I forgot she had this.
I like doing that. I like when I go home.
I actually wrote the program.
You did?
Mm-hmm. In London, I went and got everything printed when we got to Meridian, but I wrote the obit and all that.
Did you go through all of the photo albums?
Kind of. Did I tell you that? You must read my mind.
No.
So my mom had like the size of I don't know, like a bag that you put a couple of laptops in, full of pictures, not framed, just in the picture developing packet that you get when you get them printed. Yep. She must have had 50 of those in there, trust me.
Really?
Wow. So me and Ann and
wouldn't have them developed.
No. We sat at the dining room table at my uncle's house
and went through them.
Because some of the people in there, I'm like, Uncle Marcel, who was that? Oh, that's your cousin Sarah. So we created stacks of different stuff, because I'm not exaggerating when I say there were 50 of those packets, those Kodak packets.
I believe it.
There were 50 of them in there, and they were full up. So we probably did this for a good hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
Ate some chicken and some catfish and all the rest. But here's the funny thing about it, Tress. It was really kind of interesting because Uncle Marzo was here, Ann was here, Linda and Jim were there, and Vera was on the other side. So, and he's my mom's, he's the last living sibling. He's 87. So I'm like, Uncle Marzo, who's that? And he'd look at it and go, Vera, who is this? Oh yeah,
his wife.
That's my Aunt Vera, his wife. So
that's what I'm saying.
And so they look at it and they go, oh, that's so and so. So we must have had 15 piles of pictures, of which 2 or 3 of those piles were people
we didn't even know.
No, I mean he knew, but Linda and I didn't know who they were.
Pictures?
We put them in. We got everything gathered up. We put them in different packs. Of course, Ann being the organizer, she's like labeling and shit. So, But anyhow,
white folks.
No, because where did the rearranging of the salt there, just as FYI.
That was funny, brother.
No.
I was gonna say don't blame it on Ann.
No, it's not.
No, it's not blamed on Ann.
It's not Ann. That just comes from Mom and Dad had Lolita and Linda. They were gone, so it was me running the house. My mother and father, when the weekends came, Mama would either drive into Chicago or catch a train, South Shore, and she and Daddy would hang out at the apartment here for the weekend. Come home Sunday night or Saturday night, go to church on Sunday.
Yeah, I had an apartment in Chicago.
Daddy had an apartment in Chicago, and me and Mama and my grandparents had the house in Michigan. So Dad would commute 2 days a week from Chicago over to Union Pier for 15 years. That being said, they would come into the city a couple weekends a week. a weekend, a month. And just hang out, do their thing, hang with other cousins and all that shit.
You be by yourself.
I'd be by myself. And so how I
Fucking shit up.
No. That's the counter opposite. The way I finally figured out how I would get what I wanted from mom and daddy was if that house was spotless, that laundry was done and folded, the yard was cut or snow was shoveled depending on the season, and stuff was tight. Daddy, their other car was washed.
My
I got
son
everything.
figured
I
that
got
out
every
too.
Eric. That's the God's honest truth. I got every fucking thing I want.
My baby
Not because
son,
I was spoiled,
Yeah.
but because I figured out, well, if I do all this stuff, they come home happy.
Go around making
this
sense.
day.
And so they come in. This is what Eric's talking about. We'll sit down because we haven't been out for a meal. We'll go to Wishbone, and seriously, we'll get to the table. Whoever gets there first, at some point, your boy will go to sit down. My buddy ain't even hit the seat yet. He can back me up, and I'm already doing like that. Now, one might say I'm OCD. It's not. It's this habit where I would come home and the salt and pepper shaker would be straight on the table, plates would be put away, Austin, everything would be tight. Because then I get every fucking thing I wanted.
My son
I
figured
just
that
did.
out too.
And it stayed with me. I would
So how are you going to teach Malcolm that?
to get everything he wants by making sure you and Tiffany are cool.
You don't clean shit.
You gotta let him hang with me and his auntie Ann for a week, and he'll be begging
Maybe
you to
he
come
ain't
home.
figured that out because whatever he wants, you guys already give him. And so
No.
he hasn't had to earn that yet.
I got calculating children. They calculate the wins and losses. So I told you a story about Lila one time
Yes, he did.
when she was told, if you do this, this will be your punishment. The punishment was you can't watch TV for a week or whatever. She go check the TV guy.
I don't want to
See what's on.
Right. I don't care.
Ain't shit I want to see.
So I'm
gonna fuck some shit up.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's crazy. So that's smart as
You're
shit.
calculating kids. They just calculate. Well, you know,
I'm
Xbox ain't that important to me. I can do without it.
My son was like you though. He figured that out.
So that's where it comes from.
Because if it wasn't done, he had to hear my mouth. And he
so,
figured out he did this, he didn't have to hear mama's mouth.
And Eric, that's the other side of it. I knew that if things were tight and square, I didn't have to hear mom and daddy's mouth about shit.
You, on the other hand, don't say nothing.
Because he also too, Eric,
I used to say something. I'm tired of saying something
well, that's third
because it wasn't doing me no good saying.
Yeah, that's
that's
you were no different than a lot of parents where you're like, you know what? Because so with me, to that point about not hearing mom and daddy's mouth, I also realized that when they were away and I did a bunch of stuff and made the house cool, and you know, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I cleaned the shit out. Even to this day, our house, my houses are all. That's always been kind of
Bring you over my house, man. You can do that shit over there.
I
Make
would-
me happy.
But I tell you, man, what cracks me up about it to this day is Eric's not the first person to say, "Damn, you can't go to lunch with you." He's straightening shit up.
You know, behind the damn waitress
He
and
hasn't
stuff.
sat down yet. He's
Wiping up
moving this
behind
over
shit.
here. You know what? When I said this, when we were talking about the whole thing with Starbucks, that's the guy's honest truth. I go into a Starbucks today, or any, whatever. I wipe the table off before I sit down.
Look at a rag or something on the table. You
Russ
probably be in there
said-
vacuuming the damn hotel rooms.
Russ said when he was going through his mom's things after she passed, he said he was amazed at the things she kept too.
Say that again.
That's what mothers do.
Russ, he said he was
Daddies throw shit
going
away.
through his mom's things after she passed. He said he was amazed at the things that his mom kept as well.
Yeah.
My daddy's favorite phrase is, "You need to go get a box. Put that shit in a box."
Well, and that was the other thing too that kept with mom and dad is that my father was quick to throw shit out.
Mhm.
My mother kept stuff, and my dad would be like, "So you can throw that out." I'm like, "No, Daddy, if I throw that out, you gonna leave and go back to Chicago on Monday. Mama gonna be upset, right? So if you don't mind, I'll take it out, put it in the shed. Okay, but you can throw it out. Okay, Daddy, I heard you, but when you leave on Monday,
And isn't it inevitable that when you keep something for an ungodly amount of time, and then time you say to yourself, yeah, I don't need this, you throw
2
it
days
out.
later,
Damn, I'll be damned. Now you
Just
need
threw
it.
that away.
Just threw that away.
Ooh, I should've
It
done that
happens every single time.
Well,
So then I kind of just got to the point where I don't throw nothing out.
shit. Yeah, but I got
I mean, I throw some stuff out, but I'm real leery about it too.
I
I
get
be
itchy.
like,
I get itchy, scratchy.
Yeah,
Stuff starts.
yeah.
I gotta, and I probably go through that monthly.
really?
Yeah, it doesn't
I
drive
need
me
to throw
crazy,
shit
but
away
she
too,
does.
man. I can't
She
I like tidiness.
I got boxes. Listen, I
Drive me
got
crazy.
every single tax preparation I've ever filed in my entire life, and I know I only need to keep them for 3 years.
Yeah.
I should throw those old ones away, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Shred them.
I believe they're gonna try to fuck me on Social Security. I want my money.
Shred them.
Keeping them ain't gonna help you from Social Security.
No.
If they gonna fuck you, they gonna fuck you.
They already got that penis
You
out.
ain't got nothing but a fire hazard.
You
That's
know
all
what?
you got now.
Help me with something, y'all. Help me with something. Okay. So my mortgage was sold, as they often do, to a new mortgage servicer. I have a FHA loan. Now, just before they sent it, because they're and this is weird to me, their fiscal year is from this point to this point. And then when they sell the loan, it's always in the middle of that, just when they paid the first part of your taxes. So then when they sent my stuff over to the new servicer, now I'm behind. Because the escrow is in the debit because they didn't, made this extra payment. So then the new mortgage lender gets this, looks it over and says, oh, their escrow is in the negative. So let me recalculate their escrow payment. And because I'm in the negative, now I have makeup to do, plus what they're calculating is my payment is going to be. And then I need a reserve because of this, because I'm behind in the negative.
Yeah, all you can do is reconcile that with them.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
But see, I don't understand.
That's your responsibility.
It is my
You
responsibility.
should keep track of that.
Trust me, and I did. I went down through things line by line by line by line by line, and I figured out where they came up with this. So I said, wait a minute. Because they sold it at this point, had I been allowed the rest of the year to, like any normal, I would have been able to make this up. But because they sold it in the middle of the year, you can't come to me and tell me now my payment is going to go up because I'm in arrears.
You straighten it out though, right?
Yeah, I straightened it out. But I'm just saying.
That's how it goes.
What would a person do if they don't know how to straighten that out?
They would just pay the extra. And then it would get reconciled the following year, and you got an overpayment.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pain in the I will admit it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, you got to fix that one.
All right, we got to bounce, y'all.
They don't make it easy.
They do not. It's not their
Camera's over here. Say bye.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.
So what you tell your